What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Carmine here, coming at you live through the power of the internet, bringing you yet another video, and this time I wanted to do things a bit differently. As we all know, Game of Thrones is a television show which was first a book series called The Song of Ice and Fire by George Martin. The show has become a critical success for many reasons, and some of the biggest has to be the twists and turns that nobody can predict or see coming. If you've read them, then you know the books can be worse than the television show in many aspects. George is kind of a brutal guy, and I love how the show has left out some of his surreal and sometimes insane details for a more relaxed but still entertaining experience. What I mean is that there are a lot more fucked up shit in the books that the show has left out for aesthetically pleasing reasons. I'll give you one example right now. Remember back in Season 4, Episode 9, when the Night's Watch is defending against the Wildling Assault? There is a moment when the Magnar Then takes on Jon Snow. In the book, his death is very bland, so of course they decided to have him fight Jon. At one point, he has the upper hand and he grabs Jon's face and smashes it against an anvil. Now, if cartoons have taught me anything, it's that anvils fucking hurt, and Jon should have had a Wile E. Coyote moment where his nose is broken and his teeth are fucked up. Obviously, they can't have one of their biggest actors look like Mike Tyson, and they needed his pretty smile to bring in the ladies. I'm not complaining, but it did stun Ygritte for a nice kill from that one kid everybody hates. Now, keep in mind that this video isn't criticizing the television show, but to inform you that just because you think this last season was very fucked up, it could be a lot worse. So these are the 4 moments from the books HBO has left out of the television show. And we're going to start with facial disfigurements. Unlike in the television show where many characters set out on journeys and arrive at their destinations in one piece, you really won't find that in novels. One example is with Brienne, who is currently in the Riverlands looking for Sansa. At one point, she goes inside an inn and a fight breaks out between her and a couple of guys, one of which was the biter from Season 2 and 4. Remember that one guy that takes a chunk out of the Hound's shoulder? Yeah, that guy. He ends up chewing the flesh off her cheek. Another example is with Tyrion during the Battle of the Blackwater, or, as Michael Caine would call it, the Blackwater. During that fight, one of the Kingsguard tries to kill Tyrion until Podrick saves him. Afterwards, Tyrion has this cool-looking battle scar, but everything on his face is still in place. However, in the books, part of his nose is cut off. Now, you could argue that it would be a hassle for the actor to walk around on set for hours in that type of makeup, but I'm going to go ahead and assume HBO is either lazy and doesn't want to pay extra for it, or because it's not pleasing to the eye. Hell, in the books, his description is not that attractive. But on the show, well, I've heard people refer to Dinklage as the Brad Pitt of little people. Oh, and fun fact, in Season 3, Episode 1, when Cersei comes to visit Tyrion, there is a little nod to this exact thing when she says that she heard part of his nose was gone. It's a nice little nod to the books. At number 3, we have Arya being groped by an adult man. Yeah, this isn't spoiler for the next book, by the way, because we have seen this in Season 5 finale when she kills Meryn Trent. George Martin is still working on the 6th book, but every once in a while, he'll release a chapter for us that he's finished. Last year, I believe it was called Mercy. The showrunners took that chapter from the 6th book and imported it into the 5th season and changed some of the characters around. However, in the show, Meryn Trent just beats her with a wooden stick. In the chapter, it was a different guy who gropes her. Keep in mind that even though the show ages these characters up, Arya is still a child. It's only been 2 years since Season 1 and Book 1, so in the novels, she's around 11 to 12 years old. For obvious reasons, they left that part out. While we saw that Meryn is a pedophile, we didn't exactly see him do any of that sort of thing. For those of you who want to read this chapter, there is a YouTube video where this guy reads it for you. I'll link it in the description below if you're interested. And I'm sure by now some of you hate Ramsay, but I'm about to make you hate him even more with number 2. Ramsay is more of an asshole than the show lets on. Remember in that one episode where he has Theon watch him while he fucks Sansa? Yeah, that's actually much worse in the books. You see, Ramsay doesn't actually marry Sansa, but her friend Jane. I'm sure you've heard this by now that in the books, Sansa is still in the Vale, while her friend pretends to be Arya so the Boltons can solidify their claim to Winterfell. Roose, Ramsay, and Theon all know that she isn't Arya, but they go with it anyways. During their wedding night, Ramsay has Theon warm Jane up with his tongue. Yeah, and also there's a moment in the books where Jane has become like Theon, so afraid of Ramsay and his sadistic nature that she says she'll, and I quote, do what he wants or whatever he wants with him or with the dog. So it's strongly implied that he has her fuck his hunting dogs. Yeah, and I highly doubt they'd let Sophie Turner say shit like that. For obvious reasons, they couldn't put this in, but a part of me wishes they did. Ramsay in the show is a kitten compared to the monster that he is in the books. George knows how to make monsters, and he knows how to write them as fucked up as they would be in real life. But moving on to number 1, which I'm sure some of you won't believe me, but Dany has violent diarrhea. I shit you not. Remember that one scene in Season 5 when she gets on Drogon's back and she flies off with him? Then in the next episode, they land and she walks around a little and the Dothraki come for her? Yeah, there's a part missing there. Now, I know some of you won't believe me, which is why, for the first time ever, Preston Jacobs will be reading you a passage from the 5th book. For those of you who don't know who Preston Jacobs is, he's one of the most well-known YouTubers in the online GOT community. He's read the books multiple times, so I couldn't think of anyone better to read about this woman shitting her pants. Preston, take it away.
Sunset found her squatting in the grass, groaning. Every stool was looser than the one before, and smelled fouler. By the time the moon came up, she was shitting brown water. The more she drank, the more she shat. But the more she shat, the thirstier she grew.
Yes, charming. Now, once again, this was left out because, of course, I doubt they would have put this in to begin with, but I also have a suspicion that Emilia Clarke probably had this written into her contract that she wouldn't be doing this scene, along with any more nudity scenes too, which is a shame because I really wanted to see if they would try and do something like this, but nope, she's a party pooper. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and be sure to subscribe if you already haven't, and head over to Preston's channel. I know many of you love theory videos, and he's got a lot of them. I'll leave the link in the description below. But once again, thank you for watching. Have a good one.